उधर N.D.P आगू जगमीत सिंह ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਕਾਰਬੋਰੋ ओंटारियो च एक न्यूज़ कॉन्फ्रेंस की गई जिथे उन्होंने कारपोरेशनस उत्ते वाधू जायदाद टैक्स की मंग करते हुए एक विरोधी मता पेश करने की अपनी पार्टी के योजना बारे चर्चा की। जगमीत सिंह ਵੱਲੋਂ वाधी लागत नाल प्रभावित होए लोकां नाल भी गलबात की गई।
So today we're talking about the cost of living, and what we've heard from so many people is that it's getting harder and harder to make ends meet. We're seeing the cost of everything go up. The cost of groceries, the cost of bills, the cost of gasoline. Costs are going up and people are struggling. And I want to be clear, when cost of living goes up, governments have a responsibility to act. They shouldn't just sit back and let it happen. They've got to do something to help people out. Particularly when we know the cost of living goes up, we know that there are some people that end up hurting, working class people, families. They hurt when the price of things go up. But we also know that there's corporations that benefit off the cost of living going up. We know that large corporations in the oil and gas sector, large corporate grocery stores are benefiting from the cost of living going up. And what they're doing is they're exploiting a difficult situation. They're exploiting a war, they're exploiting a pandemic, and they're exploiting the inflation. And so at that moment, it's when government needs to step up and stop companies from exploiting people or making excess profits off the backs of people. And that's why our plan is to tax the excess profits of these large corporations of 3% of their profits over $1 billion. There is a plan, this is a plan proposed by the Liberals to apply to banks and insurance companies. So we want to force, first of all, the Liberals to honor their promise to tax large banks and insurance companies, but to expand that to include corporate grocery stores as well as oil and gas companies. We believe government has to step up and ensure that these large corporations aren't exploiting people, make sure they pay their fair share and reinvest that to support people. Today we have Lisa and Varsha who are going to share their stories of how the cost of living going up is impacting them. These are the people that we want to help. We believe that we can do something about this, that government can act in a way to make life easier for people who are right now struggling with the cost of living. We've got corporate grocery stores that are making record profits, that are raising the cost of food, but it's not like they're raising the salaries for their workers. Workers continue to struggle to get by, and families continue to struggle to get groceries. And the imagery that Varsha described of people having to be putting down food that they wanted to purchase for their young ones, for their family, for their kids. That is a reality of what it means when the cost of living goes up. And governments can't sit back and allow that to happen. This is not going to fix on its own. This is where government has to step in. The role of government is to stop businesses from exploiting people. What could be a better example of exploitation in the middle of a pandemic, a war, and the cost of living going up, inflation going up, that we see certain corporations benefiting off of this, exploiting this opportunity and hurting people. This is where government needs to step up and say, no, you've got to pay your fair share. If you're exploiting people, then first of all, you shouldn't have been doing that, but then you should pay excess profit or tax on your excess profits. And we need to reinvest that to help out families like Lisa and Varsha's, help out families across Scarborough and the GTA and across Canada so that they can afford to have the things that they need.